Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vitvaram Satgurum Brahma Vitvaram. We were seeing the second boon given by Lord Yama to Nachiketa. Little louder. Second boon given by Lord Yama to Nachiketa. He is going to ask the second boon now. And the second boon is actually about devotion. So before we entered into the mantra, we saw the background of what is Upasana. What is Upasana? That background we saw. It is something which will deepen our understanding of Bhagavan, and whatever practices we are doing, that will get lot of depth. We start our devotional journey with this idea that Bhagavan is one person, one form. But the Upanishadic idea is to take us beyond that, to make us understand what is Bhagavan's form as this creation. One who is not limited to a particular part of creation, but one who has become the creation. Between creation and creator, there is no difference. Between creation and creator, there is no difference. The devotee's interaction with creation is as though he is interacting with creator. Because he has understood this whole universe is my Bhagavan. Whatever experiences he is getting through the world, he doesn't feel it's some random experience coming, even if it is an unpleasant experience. He says this unpleasant experience also has God's hand, God's grace in and through it. Best example for this is Kakabhushundi ji. He is sitting in a Shiva temple, and his guru comes at that time. He ignores his guru, continues to sit wherever he is sitting, with this idea that if I see him, I'll have to talk to him, he will teach something which I'm not agreeing with right now. So he continues to do, ignores guru. Lord Shiva gets angry. Bhagavan Shiva gets angry and he curses him to become a Pakshi. Curses him to become a bird. A bird. I mean, he gets several different curses. One curse was from Lomasha Rishi also. He also curses him to become, finally he becomes a bird. Who cursed and all, not too important. Main thing is he gets cursed. But what he says there is, when I received this curse, I did not feel angry at Lomasha Rishi. When I received the curse, I did not feel angry at Lomasha Rishi. Why is that? He says, Nija Prabhumaya dekhahi jagata kehi sana karau durava. He says, I see this entire world in my Lord. I see this whole universe as my Lord. With whom should I fight? With whom should I get annoyed with? He says, whatever came through Lomasha Rishi, he says, that also I heartily accept. I mean, this is the mindset of a bhakta, where he has removed his limited understanding about himself. What is the final understanding Vedanta wants us to go towards? That I am not this infinite, I am not this finite jiva, but I am that infinite consciousness. But time and again, we get stuck with this idea that I am this body, this mind is my mind. To remove this notion of finitude, the first step is devotion. And in that devotion, understanding Bhagwan as not only Ekarupa, one form, but as Vishwarupa. This is what Arjuna saw in Bhagavad Gita. 10th chapter he saw Vibhuti of the Lord. 11th chapter he saw Vishwarupa of the Lord. When he sees that, 12th chapter is Bhakti Yoga. He says, I cannot see but the Lord. Wherever I go, in that Bhagwan, I am trying to absorb myself. So this was the philosophy of Upasana. That we are trying to invoke the divine through a given altar and trying to absorb the mind in that altar. Means we should ask ourselves when we are in front of Vigraha of the Lord, Bhagwan's Vigraha, what is my understanding of Bhagwan? Is he somebody who is limited to only this form, or is his power all pervading in this whole universe? Just like I pervade this body, Bhagwan pervades this whole universe. This whole universe is Bhagwan's Sharira. Just like I have one mind, individual mind, like that there is total mind, which is God's mind. And this sadhaka tries to dissolve himself in that totality. Doesn't try to fight totality, but he tries to erase his identity into totality. And whenever this ahankara goes down, ahankara becomes small, that is when he sees or experiences lot of bliss. More he holds on to finitude, more is the agitation which comes along with that finitude. In fact, this is the prayer which is done in Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha Tat Savituhu Varenyam. Bhagwan, who is Savituhu, one who is appearing as the sun, he is the most worshipful one. Varenyam means, if at all I have to set some goal in life, it should be God. One who is worthy of being chosen. Tat Savituhu Varenyam Bhargaha, that effulgence. Dhimahi means we meditate. Dhimahi is the verb there. Huh? Dhimahi means we meditate upon the Lord. Dhiyaha yaha naha prachodayat. Naha dhiyaha means our intellect should connect with total intellect. May that infinite brilliance shine forth in my intellect also. Bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yona prachodayat. Now this particular understanding he keeps on repeating. In Upasana, one of the main thing is repetition. So this understanding that I am not different from totality, this body is not different from total five elements, my mind is not different from God's mind. This repetition, he keeps doing it. And Upasana Siddhanta, the philosophy there is, whatever we adore, that we become. Whatever we adore, that we become. And this adoration is repetitive. You have to keep repeating it, and when repetition happens, this sadhaka's mind actually becomes like that. Means when he thinks about himself, his body is not limited to this body. He says, entire Jagat is my Sharira. When he thinks about his mind, he says it's not this tiny little mind, there is a cosmic mind which this mind is part of. The applied side he feels just like I have this limited mind planning things in my life. There is one cosmic mind also which is planning the whole universe, including my life. Where I have to be at what time? Who has to come into my life at what time? Just look at our life until this point. How many things we have decided and how many things have been decided for us. He says that cosmic intelligence, you can call it nature. But devotee says, I like to call it as God. Because nature is inert. Inert thing cannot do any intelligent planning. In that cosmic intelligence, one has faith and tries to expand his understanding about himself. This is something which will take our devotion to the next point. Okay. Then what were the three benefits of Upasana? First benefit was Anaishwarya goes away. This feeling of being small goes away because this devotee has merged himself with the Lord or tries to merge himself with the Lord. Somebody asked me recently, this tadatmya which we spoke about, right? Merging with the Lord. Is it a sadhana or is it a result of sadhana? Do I need it to start doing Upasana or does it come as a result of Upasana? Answer is both. We might start it with lot of effort, but at least we should start. And for a saint, that oneness has become a reality. This morning we were saying Jnana and Vijnana. This is the meaning. Jnana means I know this is how it should be done. I have understood that I have to dissolve my individuality in totality, in Bhagavan. Vijnana is, he actually is able to do that. So Jnani and Vijnani means somebody who has accomplished it for himself. There is a very famous story of Sant Namdevji Maharaj. They were all contemporaries, great saints living at the same time. Eknathji Maharaj, Namdevji, Gora Kumhar. So Eknathji once arranges for a sabha of all Santa Mahatmas, and the sabha was held in the house of Gora Kumhar. Gora Kumharji was a saint, but he was a potter. So Eknathji says, all saints are here. Gora Kumhar, you go and check whose devotion is ripened. Whose devotion is ripened? Who is a perfect devotee? He says, how should I figure out? He says, you are a Kumhar, right? You know how to test pots. If you tap on the pot, through the sound you can know. Is it ripe or is it kacha, raw? So you take this stick, tap on people's head. If that stick rises up, that means it is still raw. If you keep it, it stays there, it means it is perfect. So he starts tapping. For everybody he says, stick stays there. He says it is perfect. Then he comes to Namdevji. Taps it and it comes up. He says one devotee is there whose devotion is not ripened. And at that stage, Namdevji Maharaj was somebody who would speak with the Lord. If he keeps Naivedyam, Bhagavan would come and eat the Naivedyam. Means for him, God was more real than the world. For a sadhaka, world is more real and God is a concept. But for a santa, God is more real, world looks to be a construct. So Namdevji Maharaj goes and he complains to Bhagavan Vithala. He says, what is this? I thought I was your best friend. We are talking to each other and here is somebody telling me my devotion has not ripened yet. So he says, that is true. There is something more to be learnt. Then he says, go to the nearest Shiva temple. There is one devotee, his name is Vithoba Kechar. he will teach what is devotion. So he goes there and he finds Vithoba Keshariji in a very strange position. His foot lying on Shivalinga. And he says, what is this? You have your foot lying on Shivalinga. Vithoba Keshariji says, I'm very old. Unable to move my leg also. Can you please take it? I didn't even realize there was a Shivalinga. Please take it and keep it in a place where there is no Shivalinga. Then he moves on the left. Swayambhu Shivalinga comes. Moves other side, another Shivalinga comes. Then suddenly it flashes on Namdevji Maharaj that Bhagwan whom I was worshipping as Ekarupa. The advancement in my understanding is to understand him as Vishwarupa. This story Raman Maharshi would often quote to show what is the gradation in devotion. That if we want our likes and dislikes to go away, if we want our transactional life to be beautiful, one has to see world as God. Initially it is a practice. The ripened state of that is effortless vision of Bhagwan. I had read one book. The title of that book was They Lived with God. They lived with God. All saints and sages, how they thought about Bhagwan. And there was a sequel of that book. The title was God Lived with Them. God lived with them means one whose mind was immersed in this all-encompassing power. Bhagwan means Shakti. Bhagwan means Shakti, that consciousness which pervades this universe. So first was Aneshwarya goes away. That is the benefit. Doesn't feel small, doesn't feel. He is isolated from the world. Second one was Adharma goes away. Wherever we see oneness, wherever we see us as part of somebody else, there even the thought of doing something wrong doesn't come. Adharma is not there. And the third one was Raga Dveshas go down. Whatever is seen as our own self, there we cannot get attached, nor can we develop aversion. Right hand doesn't get attached to the left hand. Right hand doesn't get aversion to the left hand. Because both are me. Like that, this person sees every other being as Bhagwan, and his Upasana is this Bhagwan is one with me, or I am one with Bhagwan. The best expression of this oneness is mother and child. Mother and child, this is given in our scriptures, and the first expression of knowing that something is different, but as though feeling that we are not different. How that bond is created? Like that, this devotee feels with God. He is seeing the world as different, but in his bhavana he is not feeling it as different. Okay, so this was Upasana. 3 main benefits were there. Now the one who has mind in this way, it says that person's mind is in Swarga while he is living here. That is the second boon which is asked about Upasana. One Upasana is to go to Swarga hereafter. Right? But what is more important is, how can we get this kind of a mind that will bring a lot of inner peace? How can I adore Bhagwan in such a way that I become the recipient of his grace and his qualities? That is the philosophy of Upasana. Whatever we adore, that we become. So now let us see the verse. What is Nachiketa asking? We had seen this verse, right? Swarge loke. Let's chant it again. Swarge loke na bhayam kinchanasti न तत्र त्वं न जरया बिभेति उभे तीर्त्वा शनाया पिपासे शोकातिगो मोदते स्वर्गलोके. Nachiketa says, I have heard about Swarga. What are the salient features of Swarga? Swarge loke nabhayam kinchanasti. There is no fear in Swarga. Natatratvam. There is no fear of death. And there is no fear of old age. Na jaraya bibheti. In Manushya Loka, no matter where we go, these two fears cannot be removed. No matter which situation we go into, fear of old age, fear of death will always come. Whereas in Swarga, there is no concept of body getting old and no notion of death. People gather, people disappear. That is all. Ubhe tirtva ashanaya pipase. It says there is no sorrow coming because of hunger and thirst. In Swarga, we should not say there is no hunger and thirst. What is there is, there are plenty of resources, no competition, no shortage of resources. I have not gone. People have told me. No, not to Swarga. On a cruise. They say the buffet is open 24/7. Is it true? Whenever you want, you can go eat whatever you want. Something like that. Something like that. No shortage of resources. Ubhe tirtva ashanaya pipase shokatigo. There is no sorrow. And modate swargaloke. Everybody rejoices there. Now this concept of loka, we have to think a little bit. Sometimes people might ask questions. Oh, in your religion they talk about loka as heaven. Who has seen? And sometimes they will try to say, or they will propose this. If it is somewhere up, generally we say, where is heaven? Heaven is up. If it is up, then one day can we go there? Technically speaking, if it is up, if you keep going up, someday you should reach. Or somebody from there can come here. And they tell stories, UFOs, unidentified flying objects. So different things are there. Maybe they are from other lokas. There are some fundamentals. If you are clear about it, we will never get confused about lokas. If you want to understand about other lokas, just pay attention to how we go from Jagrat Loka to Swapna Loka. From waking world to dream world, how do we go? Do we sit in a car and then, some Vimana comes and then we go into Swapna? The moment we drop this body identification, we take up a new body in Swapna. Totally different Sharira is there. The friends we have in Jagrat Loka, totally new set of friends is available in Swapna Loka. So just like we switch between Jagrat and Swapna, like that a Jiva switches between 14 worlds. In Vedansara it was written, there are 14 different worlds. What are the ones? 7 on the top, 7 down. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. 7 down. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala. Very good. All 7 down, 7 up. Good news is we are on the 8th one. There are 7 worlds below. Bhuloka is the 8th one. But whenever we say this lokas, we think they are layers. Our Bombay tiffin dabba, One layer is rice, another layer is dal. So here is Bhuloka, above is Suvarloka, then topmost layer is Satyaloka. They are not layers in space. They are different realms of experiences. Just like your Swapna Loka is different realm of experience. The space of Swapna Loka is different. So if you say, I want to go to that Swarga Loka using some rocket, means what are we trying there? In the space of Bhuloka, we are trying to fit another Loka. In Bhuloka space, we are trying to seek for Swarga Loka. You said, no, that is a totally different realm of experience. We should not find it in Bhuloka. And when we are in that Loka looks very real. Just like we are experiencing this world, in dream, how do we experience? Do we experience it as false and then be part of dream? When we are dreaming, it is totally real. Like that, all lokas are experienced. So this is one thing about loka. There are 14 worlds, just like we are experiencing this world. How do we decide which loka I want to go to? We don't have a choice. Based on our karma, based on our upasana, based on our convictions, we are sent to different lokas. We think we have a choice in this loka. This also we don't have choice. Based on our karma, we are sent here on a mission. Bhagavan says, I gave you this Manushya Loka, make the best out of it. Ramcharitmanas, Purajana Gita, Bhagavan Rama tells, Manushya Janma is the most rare of forms where we can get this knowledge, transcend our limitations. So the shuttling between lokas happens based on karma, happens based on actions. But just like this world is unreal, all lokas are unreal. Okay, put it differently. Just like this loka appears in consciousness. Consciousness is reality. This loka is an appearance in that consciousness. Even Swarga Loka is appearing in consciousness only. It's not somewhere else. Sometimes we get so stuck with our perception of world, we think there can be nothing more than what meets our eyes. And if you just look at in this loka only, other animals live with us, right? Their loka is very different. Next to our ashram, we have squirrels. And those squirrels, they dig a hole underground and then go inside. And whenever I go, I feel they must be enjoying their loka there. They also have 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom. Their own world. And we think, how difficult it is living down. I mean, the point is, according to the Sharira, is our experience of loka. According to the mind, is our experience of loka. There are different lokas. So Nachiketa says, this Swarga Loka has all these characteristics. There is no hunger, there is no thirst, no pain because of that. That is why I want to learn this knowledge. Now he is reverentially asking his teacher. You see what he says, 13th verse. Sattvam agnim swargya madhye shimrutyo. Sattvam agnim swargya madhye shimrutyo. Prabruhitvam. Prabruhitvam. Shraddadhanaya mahyam. Shraddadhanaya mahyam. Swargaloka. Amrutatvam bhajante. Swargaloka. Amrutatvam bhajante. Etadvitiyena. Vrune varena. Etadvitiyena. Vrune varena. Saha tvam agnim swargyam adhyeshi. That Agni, that ritual, that Upasana, which is needed to go to Swarga, O Yamacharya, you know it very well. Adhyeshi means you not only know it, you have also taught it several times. And there might be so many rituals which are needed to go to Swarga. You know precisely which one will take me there. No trial and error. You know it. Please teach me precisely what is that knowledge by which one can go to Swarga. Now when we see the third boon, we realize that Nachiketa is actually not asking this for himself. He says, I have no desire to go to Swarga. What will I do enjoying all those things? That is why he is asking the third boon. But he says, if at all somebody is not prepared for Brahma Vidya, the best option for them is the second boon. Or you can say, the one who has built a beautiful mind through the second boon will get prepared for the third one. He said, therefore I am asking this, please teach me that. Prabruhi tvam. Prabruhi means, please explain it clearly to me. Elaborately. No shortcuts. Jaldi kariye nahi hai. Sometimes, in rituals they say, one should never say that. Whichever rituals we are doing, he said, do it thoroughly. Because we are running late in something, he said, do it fast. Student is somebody who has come there to learn. Very much available. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the student is Parikshitji Maharaj. Teacher is Shukdevji. 2 days go by, Shukdevji is teaching, Parikshitji Maharaj is listening. Parikshitji has not had food, not drunk water. Shukdevji tells him, let's take a break. You go and eat something and come, then we'll continue. Parikshitji says, the curse I have is, on the 7th day Takshaka will come. Before that, nothing is going to happen to me. You continue, I'm getting lot of joy listening to you. He says, that is our Nachiketa. He says, Prabruhi. Prakarshena bruhi. Elaborately you explain, systematically you explain. Why should I explain to you if Yamacharya asks? Because I fasted for 3 days. Because I'm so brilliant. Bahunamemi prathamaha, bahunamemi madhyamaha. He says nothing of that. None of that is a requirement for you to teach me. The only reason I want you to teach me is, I am a person who has faith. Shraddha dhanaya mahyam. The one who has Shraddha, for me you should teach. The meaning of Shraddha here is, he says, I am willing to put forth effort to actually take your statement to be true and practice it in my life. Shraddha has 2 words, Shrat and Dha. Shrat means taking a thing to be true. Dha means to absorb it very well. Shrat datte yaya vritya sa shraddha. If you say, I have Shraddha in Ayurveda, what does it mean? Whatever I have learnt, whatever I am learning from somebody, I have this ability to take it as true. And I will put forth effort to actually change my diet according to this. Then I will see the result. Shraddha in yoga means what? If somebody says, do deep breathing, mind will become calm. So he starts with faith that this thing is true and he practices it. Now apply this to Upasana. What was the Upasana technique mentioned? Invoking the divine in an altar and absorbing the mind in that altar. And what was the nature of divine? It says Bhagwan is all pervading. And this conditioning is one with total conditioning. In this he says, I have faith. In this teaching I have faith. In the efficacy of this teaching also I have faith. If somebody starts with this feeling that, I don't know whether this Upasana works. 3 results they said, Aneshwarya goes away, Adharma goes away, Ragadvesha goes away. He says, no, I will never doubt about the efficacy and the teaching also. Because I have that faith, please teach me. Shraddha dhanaya mahyam. Swarga loka amrutatvam bhajante. Many people have attained this kind of tadatmya. They have attained this kind of oneness with creation, oneness with totality, and they revel in Swarga. Their mind has become so beautiful, so pure, that finitude is removed from their mind. Etad dvitiyena vrune varena. This I am asking as a result of my second boon. First boon he asked for his father. Second boon he is asking for the knowledge to go to Swarga. The Upasana technique and the rituals which are needed to go to Swarga. Do you see the word Agni here in the mantra? Where do you see it? First line. Sattvam Agnim. See, this is a Vedic mantra. Upanishad is part of Vedas. So they will use the word Agni. How should we understand it? Bhagavan. Bhagavan, the Upasya in Vedas, Vedic time was fire. But here we should understand, please teach me the secrets of devotion. Nachiketa is asking Yamacharya, please teach me the secrets of devotion. This Agni word, it's elaborated very beautifully in our scriptures. They point out 3 Agnis. 3 Agnis. One Agni is called as Bhautika Agni. Bhautika Agni means fire of this world, what we are familiar with, which gives us warmth, which gives us light, with which we cook food. That is called as Bhautika Agni. Second Agni is called as Jnana Agni. Second Agni is called as Jnana Agni. Bhautika Agni nourishes body. Jnana Agni removes ignorance. What does Bhagavan Krishna say? Jnana Agni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute Arjuna. This knowledge of fire with that, or fire of knowledge, with that fire, burn all this ignorance. That you are this jiva, you are this finite being, you are this body. That fire will burn everything. That is called as Jnana Agni. First one was Bhautika Agni. Third Agni is called as Bhava Agni. Bhava Agni is fire of devotion. Fire of devotion which removes all the agitations of the mind, which removes the vikshepa of the mind, removes the smallness of the mind. And the way it is practiced is, once we understand, whenever we are in front of an altar, bringing this bhavana that I worship my Bhagavan, who is as this universe, through this altar. Just like nation was worshipped through a flag, family was remembered through a photo, that Bhagavan who is all pervading, I remember through this form. That is called as Bhava Agni. So every day he practices this. Olden days they had this gramophone record. Right? You put that thing, it makes a groove. You want to play that song again? Put it there, it will again play. Like that he has played this, made this Upasana technique very ripened. Technique also is compromised word. He has made his devotion ripened. That is the sadhaka. Bhava Agni is well kindled. Generally what happens is, Bhautika Agni is very kindled. Conflagration is bright and burning. Our job is to kindle the Jnana Agni and Bhava Agni also. But the secret is, only when Bhava Agni is kindled, Jnana Agni is well lit. Only when devotion is ripened in this way can we appreciate knowledge in its true essence. Otherwise, to see consciousness is all pervading is a far-fetched goal. Unless we see Bhagwan as all pervading first and then try to merge with the Lord. Okay, 3 types of Agnis are mentioned. Now Yamacharya, without wasting any time, gives his blessings to Nachiketa. Prate bravimi tadume nibodha. Prate bravimi tadume nibodha. Swargyam agnim Nachiketah prajanan. Swargyam agnim Nachiketah prajanan. Anantalokaptim. Anantalokaptim. Atho pratishtham. Atho pratishtham. Viddhitvametam. Nihitam guhayam. Viddhitvametam. Nihitam guhayam. Nachiketa, prate bravimi. Here I teach you. Prate bravimi tadu me nibodha. Whatever I am teaching you, grasp it well. Pay attention. Yamacharya is telling Nachiketa, pay attention, I am going to start the teaching now. Swargyam agnim Nachiketah prajanam. This Agni which is needed to go to Swarga, the ritual and the Upasana, the meditation practice and the ritual, both of it I am going to teach you now. Understand it thoroughly. What will happen after understanding? Ananta lokapti matho pratishtham. You will be established in that Ananta loka. You will get tadatmya. You will be able to develop the oneness with whole universe and get the joy of Swargaloka. And he says, this I am not teaching you for the first time. Several people have learnt in the past. Several people have done Upasana in this way. Viddhitvametam nihitam guhayam. However, they have understood in their intellect, same way you understand in your mind also. Nihitam guhayam means, in your mind, understand in this way. Viddhitvametam nihitam guhayam. I mean, that is the tuning he is having with the teacher. Now, once he has this tuning, what does Nachiketa do? That is the 15th verse. Lokadimagnim tamuvacha tasmai. Lokadimagnim tamuvacha tasmai. Ya ishtaka. Yavatirva yathava. Ya ishtaka. Yavatirva yathava. Sachapi tat. Sachapi tat. Pratyavadat. Yathoktam. Pratyavadat. Yathoktam. Athasya mrutyuhu. Athasya mrutyuhu. Punarevaha tushtaha. Punarevaha tushtaha. This knowledge of devotion, which Agni? Bhava Agni. Bhava Agni, this knowledge of devotion Yamacharya taught Nachiketa. Devotion to Bhagavan. What is name of Bhagavan? He says Lokadim, the one who is present before this universe. The one from whom universe emerges, that is Bhagavan. Vishnu Sahasranama, first verse. No, first verse, not first word. Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaro Bhavat Prabhu Bhutakrit Bhutaprut Bhava Bhutatma Bhutabha. Bhuta Bhavana means Lokadim, one who is origin of creation. One who is the origin of all bhutas. That Bhagavan is called as Bhuta Bhavana. Another word used here is Lokadim. This is the grammar of bhakti. Grammar is always difficult. Puranas, they are the poetry and literature of bhakti. Same concept worshipped in a particular form. We are going to cover Shiva Mahimna Stotram in Thanksgiving camp. Whatever ideas are mentioned here, in a very beautiful poetic way, it will come in that stotram. Different stotrams. You read any Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, all of that will have these echoes. That who is Bhagavan? Bhagavan is that substratum from which this whole universe has emerged. The one in whom it is sustained, one in whom it gets dissolved. That devotion to Bhagavan, devotion to such Bhagavan, Yamacharya taught Nachiketa. Tamuvacha tasmai. Then along with Upasana, along with meditation technique, there are some specific rituals to be done. Rituals to be done to go to Swarga Loka. All those rituals he taught elaborately. Ritual means there has to be a yajna. Not our jnana yajna, literal yajna. If you have to create that yajna kunda, you have to select bricks. Bricks in Sanskrit is called as ishtaka. You see that second line? Ya ishtaka means how to select the bricks, number of bricks that Yamacharya taught Nachiketa. Yavatirva, Yavati means number. How many bricks to pick, which ones to pick, and how to arrange them, that also is a science. And it is said in this particular yajna, there are 720 bricks which are needed. And they are arranged in a specific format. And then when yajna is done, whatever result he wants, that he gets. We have Vedas, right? 4 Vedas are there. We also have knowledge which will help us understand these Vedas. Or you call it as limbs of the Vedas, called as Vedangas. Pronunciation, how to chant the swaras, Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita, that is one Vedanga. Meter, Chandas, that is one Vedanga. Grammar, Vyakaranam, that is one limb of Vedas. Like that, there is one limb called as Kalpa. Kalpa means how ritual should be done. Elaboration on that is called as Kalpa. Just like we have text for grammar, they also have text for Kalpa Shastra. One of that text is Shulba Sutra. Shulba Sutra, which has geometric arrangements for different types of yajnas. Where it has to be done, inside the home or outside the home. What time it should be done. All those arrangements are elaborated there. And there it is said, there are echoes of Pythagorean theorem. In the geometries which are mentioned there, many of these mathematical shapes, echoes of that are in those sutras. And when it is done properly, the efficacy of the result is even great. We do all samskaras, right? Jata karma, Simantonnaya, Garbhadhana, all these samskaras which are there, how to do each samskara, the details of that are in the sutras. It's a different science by itself. Huh? Those who study it, they know it. That not being the topic here, Yamacharya doesn't elaborate. Or Upanishad mantra doesn't elaborate what he taught. He said whatever is needed for that ritual, everything was taught by Yamacharya to Nachiketa. Then what did Nachiketa do? Saha cha api tat pratyavadat. On being asked by Yamacharya, he said, did you get it? Nachiketa said, yes. If you got it, then tell me what you understood. Whatever he told, as he told, he repeated it back. Sachapi tat prati avadat yathoktam. As he, Yamacharya taught, in that way he repeated the whole thing. Listening to this, Yamacharya became even more pleased. Athasya mrityuhu punarevaha tushtaha. Already he gave him 3 boons. Now he says, 4th boon is from my side. Because I'm so happy that you not only understood it, you received it, reception was good, retention was good, recollection was also very good. Where did we see these 3 R's? Tejasvinau adhitu ma vidvishavai sanavavatu. When we pray to Bhagavan, Tejasvinau adhitu means what? May I listen properly, may I retain it properly, and may I be able to recollect it properly. That's why in Vedanta, even if we can verbatim repeat what we have heard, that also is an accomplishment. And if you have any co-sadhakas, don't let go of them, hold them. After the class, you say, whatever I have listened, I'm going to summarize. And when they summarize, you have to listen. That time you should not run away. They summarize, you listen, you get a lot of clarity. And when you recap from start to end, that is when you realize where are the holes, where are the gaps. Even, let's say, the topic of Upasana, right? Just try to summarize what is Vedanta's idea of Upasana, Yathoktam, huh? Not what I think is Upasana. What is Vedanta saying about Upasana? Same things we have to be able to repeat. Then we are sure we have the right material. That material I can churn, that material I can grow upon. In Ramcharitmanas, Lord Shiva teaches Parvati ji Shiva Gita. Just like in Bhagavatam you have Chatushloki Bhagavatam. It is said whole Bhagavatam is elaboration of 4 verses. Whole Ramayana is elaboration of Shiva Gita. In 4 dohas, Lord Shiva teaches what is the nature of Bhagavan Rama. Parvati ji is a very good student. Teaching is over, Lord Shiva asks, did you get it? She says, yes. I spoke 4 dohas. Now tell me what I taught you. Parvati ji summarizes in 1 chaupai. Not even 1 chaupai, half a chaupai. She says, Rama Brahma Chinmaya Abhinasi. Sarva Rahita Saba Urapura Basi. He says, Bhagavan Shiva, I have understood who is Rama. He said, tell me who is he? Rama Brahma. Bhagavan Rama is pure consciousness. He is the inner witness, Chinmaya. Chaitanya Swarupa he is. And he is Avinashi. He is eternal, indestructible. Bhagavan Shiva was happy. Nirguna Swarupa of Bhagavan Rama you understood. But I also taught you Saguna. What happened to that? It's the next part of Chaupai, quarter Chaupai. Sarva Rahita Saba Urapura Basi. By himself is devoid of all conditionings, but he expresses in every conditioning. Saba Ura, Pura, Basi. The one who expresses in each and every conditioning, that is my Bhagavan Rama. Bhagavan Shiva says, distinction. Whatever I taught you, you understood precisely and you were able to repeat it back. That is our Nachiketa. Whatever he heard, repeats it back in the same way as he was taught. Now he is going to get the fourth boon from Lord Yama, which we will see in the next session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.